Yes, we are live now. Hi everyone, this is Burair Ali Hussain, and we are now again on the 11th episode of Brainstorming with Burair. Brainstorming with Burair is a platform where I invite people from all over the world, and we learn from them. Because I'm a mind sciences advocate, so I believe that through communication, through connecting with people, we can solve problems. There is always a solution available, and if we want to solve problems, we can solve by educating people and by connecting with people. So today's guest, she's from US, and she's always uh, in a way to spread education, to spread knowledge, and she is always working. Even she is working in the pandemic as well. So um, uh, let me invite Miss Jessica. Hi, Jessica. How are you?
Great, Burair. How are you today?
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming to my platform. And because I have been watching you, and I have seen your profile. It's so long. It's so, it is stuffed with so many things. So I want you to introduce yourself, so because you can better elaborate the things you are working with, the people you are working with, and the great things that you are doing.
I'd love to. I
Yeah.
founded Mindset News when COVID started to inspire youth around the world to continue their education despite the chaos. Now, before COVID, I had been an international educator for my whole career. I started teaching English in Korea in 1991 before it was developed. And while I was in Korea, over 30 years ago now, I I grew a great fondness for the people in Korea developed because they were focused on education and they had a very hard work ethic. And for Korea, the rest is history. We watched, the whole world watched as Korea became a developed nation. And it is often in these places, in developing nations, where you find people of great resilience. And resilience is a very important trait. Um, and the ability to overcome and the ability and the eagerness to build their nations. And while I am an international educator and I love education, I think that the answer to the world's problems is actually inside each person who's watching this right now. While education is great, we don't actually need to be educated to solve the world problems. It looks like Barrera is having a hard time with his internet connection. That's okay.
No, I can hear you. Uh,
Okay.
I think
Okay.
the camera is not working, but you can continue. I'm listening.
Okay, great. And so I'll just say a couple more things and then Barrera can jump in with his thoughts on it. So everything to solve the world problems is actually inside people, but they may not know it. Some people live in societies where the government is despotic, and that kind of government, a tyrant, just pushes down everybody's natural instincts to solve problems creatively, or that natural curiosity. And life is hard, and so sometimes people forget or lose sight of the fact that each of us was designed to solve a problem on Earth. And I'll say one more thing about that before I go back to Burair. Who's upside down? That's
Yeah,
great. I
yeah,
didn't know you could do that. That's quite a superpower.
yeah. Through mind sciences, I can move anywhere from anywhere in the world.
Wow, I want to study mind science.
Yeah. You may have studied, but with a different name. You may have studied consciousness. You may have studied, neuro-linguistic programming, or Silva method, any kind of things. But if we connect them, and if we collect them in a pool, we can collectively call it a mind sciences. So that's why it's a familiar term for those who understand these bits and pieces between them. But collectively, when I call it mind sciences, some people don't understand. But it's a quite easy thing.
Well, consciousness and awareness is kind of what we're
Yeah,
doing today. We're building awareness about each person's ability to solve problems. And I'm going to invoke the words of the late Sir Ken Robinson here. He used the metaphor of soil. Every farmer knows that for soil to be rich, that space needs to grow diverse crops. A diverse set of crops is what makes soil rich. And in the same way, a diverse set of abilities or talents is what makes society rich.
that,
And
that's
go ahead.
yeah, that's beautiful, because I can connect with my thoughts in that, because I feel that our education system tells us that we should have a degree on a specific subject, that is science or engineering, or maybe social sciences, in one or particular subject. But what you are saying, it's beautiful, and I want you to elaborate more on that, that why diverse education, and why the diverse knowledge, and learning different sets of things can help improve our life, or maybe improve our whole world.
I can go at this subject, Burair, from a number of different angles, and I'll start with the one that I work with a lot of brilliant scientists, and they have these very detailed research and engineering, architecture, and they have a lot of data, and they tend to be introverted. And when they want to make a presentation, they say, "Oh, I need to get all of my research on the slide." And I say, "No, you don't. Nobody really cares. You have to ask yourself why anybody would watch your presentation and why anybody wants to engage with it. And you throwing your data on a slide doesn't make anybody want to engage. If you want, I say, if you want to publish a book. But if you want to connect with people, then make a
Yeah.
presentation that connects with people. So I find great value in working with somebody who's really data oriented, and they find value in working with me, even though our personalities are very different. And sometimes it can be a challenge for really extroverted people and really introverted people, just for an example, to get along. But it's in everybody's best interest that we do connect on a real level. So that's about like different skill sets within a society. Do you want to say something about that aspect?
Yeah, I want to inquire about that. When we say connect with people, people have some problems, because we are not taught to connect with everyone. Sometimes we hesitate, sometimes we do not want to connect. So, what are the ways we can connect easily? I mean, you may know that in eastern part of the world, people hesitate connecting with different genders or different personalities, and they have certain types of stereotypes about that. So, how can we connect, and how can we remove the barrier of that? We do not want to connect,
Well,
that
we
kind of
all have,
barrier.
that's a really good question, Blair, because we all have these stereotypes in our head about what
Yeah.
this person might be like or what that person might be like. And you may know that I have lots of friends all over Pakistan. And I also have lots of friends all over India. And I
Yeah.
was talking with a famous Indian actor, Aditya Madhukar, and I said, "Hey, I'm live in Pakistan right now. I can't chat." And he said, "Oh, that's wonderful." And and then he said, "Yeah, sometimes we have a hard time getting along between India and Pakistan, but it's really just maybe the governments do, but he doesn't know anything about you personally." And he was able to say, "I'm really happy that we're connecting, even if it's through an American." It's kind of funny that Pakistan and
Mhm.
India connect via me, which is great, but
Yeah.
that kind of lets you overcome your own stereotypes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
Uh,
so, go ahead.
So, yeah, that's great. So, because we have decided to talk about creative solution problem. So, can you elaborate that how can we work on creative solution problem? I mean,
Creative
how
problem
we
solving. Yeah,
sorry, creative problem solving. That's my typo mistake.
that's okay.
So, how can we, I mean, solve problems creatively,
Great.
and does it mean to have, I mean, living in a certain type of education, or we can do living, I mean, doing different things with that?
The most important thing to say here, Burair, is that while education is nice, and I know I'm saying this as an educator, it's not mandatory. And each person is born with a natural curiosity. And sometimes governments beat that out of people. Sometimes life makes people, in its difficultness, makes people disconnect with their natural um, curiosity. But each person, especially you can see it in little kids. Little kids are curious about everything. Little kids want to touch hot stoves because they don't know it's dangerous, and and they want to climb mountains. And we have this spirit inside of us that you can see a better world in your mind, right, Blair? In your mind,
Yeah.
you can see peace, right? And if in your mind and in your heart or your spirit, wherever you can see a better world, then actually you have the ability to make that come true. And I'm gonna give you a little puzzle, and let's see who might be able to solve the puzzle. A farmer had 6 sheep, and each sheep had its own pen, like an enclosure, and each of the 6 sheep's enclosures or pens were the same exact size. So it's kind of like a math thing. Imagine 6 sheep, each in their own pen right next to each other. And one night, a thief came and stole one piece of fence from this enclosure. How does the farmer rebuild this fencing and these pens, all the same size still, but you have fewer pieces of fence to do it with? How does he build it?
I mean, because they are the same sizes.
Yeah, I'm going to try
It's
to get a piece of paper and show a visual real quick.
yeah.
Um, so, and we can talk about other things while we're thinking about this solution. And all right, so we're talking about creative problem solving. Hang on. 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here are the 6 pens, and I'm just drawing it. They don't look the same size, but imagine that they're the same size.
Same sizes. Okay.
Okay. And then this piece right here of fencing was stolen by a thief. This is something that would happen in real life. And you don't
Yeah.
need to go to college to figure out how to solve this problem. You just need to look at the number of pieces of fencing you have available and figure out how to solve it. So while people are trying to solve that, I'll say that I work with a lot of really privileged youth. It's privileged youth who can pay for college. And a lot of them, I'm not going to say a lot, I'll say some. Some of them have a really bad attitude. Their parents are spending thousands and thousands of dollars, and they sit there in class and look at me like this. Like, I don't want to be here. And I tell them, you know what? You don't want to go to college. So go away. Like, you don't have to be here. I could put somebody else in your seat who would be eager. But my point is that, and in the US, okay, here's another quiz question. What 3 businesses create the most millionaires in the United States? What do you think they are?
I think one of the businesses are real estate, because I have seen, I mean, Shark Tank as, and second maybe the, I mean, e-commerce, any kind of, and third maybe the politics.
Oh, politics. Now, politics doesn't create millionaires. You have to be a millionaire to
Okay.
be in politics. But so what I'm talking about right now is a book, was put in a book years ago, and it was called The Millionaire Next Door. So real estate
Okay.
is a great example because nobody has to go to college to become a realtor.
Yeah.
You don't.
Yes.
And so the other two, the first one is an exterminator. And an exterminator is somebody who gets rid of bugs. So
Yes.
an exterminator does not need any education, and he can easily become a millionaire because nobody wants to do this. Nobody wants to go find bugs. But if your goal is to provide for your family, then maybe you would look at bug finding a little differently. And the second one is a plumber. You do not need a big education to become a plumber. And nobody wants to fix toilets. You know, it's not a clean job. But if you
Yeah.
own a plumbing business, you make a lot of money. And you don't need to have fancy cars. You know, if you're a plumber, you need a truck. You don't need a Mercedes. And if you're a plumber, you don't need fancy scarves. By the way, this scarf was sent to me from a great friend in Pakistan, Iram Fawad. So hello to Iram if she's out there. And you can't see the colors because of the green screen thing. You know, there's green in the scarf, and so it looks a little odd. But um, and the other one is a specific type of realtor, and it's a trailer park owner. Somebody who owns a trailer park, and it's a type of real estate where a trailer is parked on it, and that becomes
Okay.
a house for someone. If you if you own that, you don't need fancy clothes, you don't need pretty earrings, and it's about status, but you make a ton of money.
Mhm.
And so when we talk about creative problem solving, um, there's another thing. Oh wait, by the way, did I surprise you? Greer, did I surprise you with my
No.
no plumbers and
Yeah.
exterminators?
Yeah. I have surprised, and I have recently I have been talking about with someone in Pakistan, and he was suggesting a business to use waste and to make money. I mean, he has made a beautiful course, a beautiful training session for those who want to use waste and to make money. So I was remembering that person, and I can believe that, because people are spending so much and not saving. I mean, and not investing in a right way. So these are the business that don't require so much spendings, and that don't require so much show off
Education.
kind of thing, so show off kind of things, and that does not require, formal, or hi-fi education. So it's really a good thing. Yes, people have to explore new ways, and there is no shame about cleaning and making others' life easier.
Yeah, it's just some of it really is about mindset. That if your first goal is to make money for your family, that's very honorable. So go clean toilets and make $1 million. I know friends who are plumbers. They're some of my good friends are plumbers. Why would I look down on that? And it is
Yeah.
about mindset. And there's another example of this. I was talking. So you may or may not know that I started a movement for community service around the world, and I had people picking up trash in 15 countries. They were sending me really short videos that said, I'm not thinking about COVID right now. I'm too busy cleaning my community. And they would be, in the video, they're picking up trash or whatever. And um, one gentleman in, I won't say what country he was in, but he says, we think trash is dirty. I can't do that. And I said, that's the whole point, right? Like, it is dirty. So pick it up, get rid of it. And, um, and another example, so there are a lot of different directions I can go with this, but one of them is that there's a phrase: one man's trash is another man's treasure. And the United States has 4 or 5 huge TV shows about guys who go around and find antiques. Now, an antique is just a nice piece of trash. And
Yeah.
and people love, like, I have some antiques in my house, and but if someone else thinks that they're trash, well, that's opportunity, because somebody else might think it's treasure. I went to a yard sale once, and if I look at yard sales as, ooh, that's someone else's trash, then I'm not going to go there. But like when my kids were little, I went to yard sales all the time to buy toys, because a 2-year-old uses a toy for about a week. And you don't have to buy all of those brand new. You can just clean them. But while I was there, I have a little bit of education in art history. And I found a pot, and it had the name of a famous pottery artist on it. And they sold this for $1. And it was made by Frida Kahlo, who's a famous, you may know, she was a famous artist in Mexico. I brought it home, and for a charity organization, we sold it for $50,000.
Oh my God.
Somebody thought that was trash, but it was
Trash.
worth
Yes.
$50,000. And it's about mindset. Like, I still think about this person who said, "Oh, that's trash. It's dirty," because wherever there's that kind of mindset, that's where there's an opportunity. And I work with people in developing nations all over the world, where they have to be creative in order to get a job, or in order to provide for their family.
So that's great. So how do you instill these kind of behaviors? First of all, I inquire you, I question you that how you have been great. How you are so great, how you can think like that, that we should change our mindset, we should work on education, and how you can instill your thoughts, your mindset, your beautiful thoughts to other people.
Thanks for asking. Well, it's always an invitation, right? I can speak, words can come out of my mouth, but that doesn't mean that anyone else can really change. that person has to make a decision to change. And so, and I'm sure that there are some people out there watching this that think my ideas are stupid. That's fine. Then don't provide for your family. You know, it's there is no shame in whatever you do to provide for your family, as long as it doesn't hurt other people. My
Yeah.
husband has started many new businesses. And so when I talk about entrepreneurial spirit, entrepreneurialism, it's about finding something that you think your community needs and then doing it. And I go back to each person's natural curiosity. And so, by the way, have you been able to solve? I'm going back to the sheep and the farmer puzzle. Have you been able to solve it?
I think I'm too dumb in that situation, because I have to think in a different way, in a leisure time, to check it out.
I'll,
What
I'll
are
show you in a
Yeah.
second. I'm going to draw the solution. Um, so the answer, but so people are designed to solve problems in their community. And I'll give you an example of a great man, Jimmy Ngango. He's the head of Integrated Youth Education Center in the Congo. I first started working with him over a year ago. He asked me to help him train his volunteers in mindset. And he was the only one with internet access. So I would send him all of my materials, and then he would ask me questions. And this went on for a month. I would send him stuff about being results oriented, focus on the solution, not the problem. A lot of people have said to me, for example, oh, I can't go to school. It's COVID. And I'm like, why? Are you going to travel the earth? Well, what exactly are you doing that you can't go to school right now? And they let that fear, it's like the fear made them say, oh, I can't go to school. Well, get over your fear and connect. You and I are connecting today, Burair, because of the internet. And if COVID hadn't happened, then maybe we wouldn't be here today. And I'm not saying COVID was a great thing. I'm just saying there's always opportunity in change. There is always opportunity in change. And getting out of the victim mindset is key to that. So when I first started working with Jimmy Ngango, he would say, send me money, send me money. Oh, it's terrible. Oh, the Congo is so horrible. Give me money, give me money. I said, Jimmy, get out of your mindset. Stop asking for money and go do something. And now some of it is that, you know, for example, in the Congo, which is true for many nations in Africa, how much do you think the president of the DR Congo makes? Give me a rough idea.
In dollars,
Yeah.
uh, maybe between $1,000 to $5,000.
No, he makes $600,000 a month.
Oh my
Month.
God!
Not a president. They call him a president, not a president.
Yeah.
And so some of it is that, like that president, when he was running for office, he handed out money to people. That president trained the population to become slaves to him. And everybody's focused on president, whatever. Give me money, give me money, give me money. And so I kept working with Jimmy, and I said, be results oriented, go solve a problem. And, you know, and then time went by, he trained his volunteers, and then he had me mentor some women who had been raped. And the first thing those women said was, give me money. Oh, I'm a victim. I'm a victim. Give me money. And I was like, I don't have any money to give you, but I can help you. So the long story short, at the end of 6 months, there's a video on my channel of these women selling fruit in their community, sustaining the community. I mean, it's a community self-reliance. She's selling fruit at a reasonable price, not $600 for an apple, right? So she's selling her fruit to the community at a real price, earning money for herself, feeding her own family, which includes the children of rape. And these women are dancing for happiness because they found that they had the ability to solve a problem in their community. And it really takes switching from a victim mentality to, I'm going to find a way to solve this problem using my natural sense of creativity. That's what it takes. And go ahead.
Yeah, I always, I mean, quarrel and fight with my friend because he wants to give money to poor people, and he said, but we have to give money. But I always say that, I mean, we have to educate or make them able to earn more money or have some stable, I mean, income mindset or kind of thing. But I mean. That's the reason that uh, the countries like Pakistan and other countries, they are dependent on having IMF program or all those kind of things, and because we have been asked to do nothing and rely on something else, rely on
Yes.
parents, rely on governments, rely on, I mean, other banks, world banks or other things. So this is a very crucial point that, and we have to learn and uh, that collectively, that how we can solve problems and to make the world better, a better place to live. So my next question would be that, I mean, in your all journey, because you also you may have taken hate from people. People would say negative words to you, maybe. So, how you handle negativity in your life? That may be coming from your friends, or maybe coming from your fans, or Facebook, or anywhere else.
Mhm.
How do you handle it?
I really like that question, Burair. Um, I don't get a lot of negativity, and actually, I'm surprised. I expected more. Like I gave a speech on International Women's Day, and I was live in Bangladesh, India, and Pakistan. And I said, and I was ready for the hate. I was really ready for it, but I knew I couldn't hold back. And I said, if women aren't allowed out of your house and you're not developing, not a coincidence. I said, let women out of the house and your country can develop. I was really ready for the hate and I didn't get any. So in fact, I won 9 Peace Awards for that speech. But negativity comes to everybody. And COVID is the perfect example. We are not defined by our situation. We are defined by our response to it. And when COVID started, we were all afraid, all of us. And I was suddenly stuck in my house instead of teaching and running around the planet. And I just started connecting with people, and I started Mindset News to inspire people to keep going, to keep getting educated despite the chaos. And then I'm just surprised that some people say, oh, I can't do that because of COVID. Why? We're all afraid, but get over your fear. Move forward even though you are afraid. Courage is not the lack of fear. Courage is being afraid and doing something anyway. And so when something negative happens, I say that we are not defined by a situation. COVID is just another situation. Poverty does not define you. The one thing that I will say, okay, I don't pretend that America is the greatest nation on earth. I really don't. And in fact, I'll say right now that I will give English away for free because it's the global language. But in Pakistan, I want people to be learning in their native languages. I'm a linguist by trade, and so Urdu has its own important knowledge that your country needs. And I think there's other languages there too, like Hindi or Sindh, right? Am I right about that? That there are other languages?
Yeah, yeah. There are so many languages. Pakistan. I mean, Urdu, Pashto,
Yep.
Saraiki, Punjabi. The Brahui. I mean, so many languages that some of them I don't know. Gilgit Baltistan have their
Yeah.
own language. Kashmir have their own language, and there are some accents as well. When every 40 miles, and there is a rule or international rule that every 40 mile the accent of changes, and in Pakistan it changes drastically. Uh, like the way we speak Urdu in Punjab, it's not very similar in Karachi. It's I mean
Okay.
people use different terminologies, different expressions. So yeah, language I believe yes,
Well,
and
those
learning other
languages,
languages is always helps. Yes,
but also learning, like really studying in your own
yeah,
language or languages is very important for your place because I'm a big defender of local languages, and your specific location on earth requires your languages. So, yes, English is the global business language, and that's why I'll give it away to anybody. But back to the question at hand, um, overcoming difficulty um, requires you to handle your fear or your sadness. And I have at least one video on grief. We all have a lot of grief um, now, maybe more than ever, because of we've lost loved ones to COVID. And I'm sorry, I mean, anybody who's lost a loved one to COVID has my heartfelt condolences. And we, the living, must continue. And um, we can use any bad situation as an excuse to not move on. Oh, I can't do this because of blah, blah, blah. No, I lost my mother when I was a child. So anybody who's out there thinking that, oh, she's never come into any trouble, nothing bad has ever happened to her. My mother died in my arms when I was a child. And then, I've lost a lot of loved ones in my life. And I have had to deal with grief a lot. And I learned about it. You talk about brain science and working with your brain. Grief is a specific type of negativity that we have to overcome. And it takes practice and reflection. Oh, before I know we have to go soon, but I wanted to give you a solution to that creative problem to be solved. So the solution is to build the new sheep pens like that with your fewer fence pieces. And I give you that example because that's real life. And I don't have to teach a farmer how to do that. The farmer looks at his own situation and goes, I'm going to use my own brain and figure out what to do. That's all we have to do. We don't have to go to college. But we have to embrace things that maybe we think are dirty. So go pick up trash. Provide for your family. Do whatever it takes. And if you don't think it can happen, I'm happy to bring Jimmy Nyango on your show and to have him talk about how he and his whole community went from victimhood to community self-reliance.
Uh, this takes it to my next question, because you said that there's no need to go to college to solve these kind of problems that farmers faces, and we all face in our daily life. So, is there any need to go to college, or I mean, you are saying that the college knowledge has been depleted and you have to embrace new things, or what is the solution? Because in Pakistan, there is a hard talk and there is a so furious talk about having a degree or having a skill. So there are people who advocate skills, that we should have skills, or no degree or no college, and some says no, we should have we should have a degree, a proper degree, and skills sometimes does not matter. So what do you say about that?
I really like this question, Bruer. I think
Thank
that
you.
higher education as an industry is on decline or is in decline. United States institutions cannot demand the amount of money that they are demanding, yet they demand it. And so they're in decline. I'll say that nobody should go into $100,000 of debt in order to go to college. If if you come from a family that doesn't have a lot of money, and it would put a horrible strain on your finances to go to college, then don't go to college. Find a career where you can build your family up to the place that you can seek higher education. There are ways. You can go on Khan Academy, and I'm happy to put the link down there. KhanAcademy.org will teach anything for free. All you have to do is watch a video. I use Khan Academy every day because I'm getting an MBA, and I'm not really good at statistics and things like that. So if you really want to learn something, you can learn it for free. I don't need to teach you English. You can go to VOA English and learn for free. But it's a mindset. You have to dedicate yourself to it. Um, so I'm trying to answer the question as to whether or not you should go to college. And if you don't have the financial resources, I would say don't go to college. Find, be creative, find a problem to solve where you can earn money, even if that's becoming a plumber, and then build your family up to the place. And I don't want to be hypocritical. Obviously, I live in higher ed. I'm on my fourth degree. I can't seem to leave colleges. Um, so I love education, but I did not put my family in financial danger to get educated. And I'll also say that I teach a lot of 19-year-old boys who really don't care. Their families are spending thousands and thousands of dollars for them to sit in my classroom and look at me like I'm an idiot. So if you're a
Yeah.
19-year-old boy and you don't want to go to college, don't waste your parents' money. But if you're serious and your family does have the resources, then take that opportunity seriously.
Yeah, reminding the words of Gary Vee, that he should you used to say that do not go to college, or do not the things. I mean, the whole idea behind that is to have a degree or not a degree, it doesn't matter. To have a skill that leads you for the betterment of your life or betterment of your family, that really matter. If someone have a skill and he is not contributing to his family or community or the people around him or her, his degree or his skill is not worthwhile. I mean, so the whole point, what I have observed and what I have learned, that we should have a skill or degree, anything, but that must be equipped with some kind of contribution, some kind of, the betterment of our community. So thank you for your time, Jessica. We talk a lot, and that's a great. I mean, it's like conversation. Usually, I talk with. I mean, I interview people and I ask so many questions, and they answer them. But uh, today, I talk like just like I'm conversing, and I'm not having an informal chat with you. So thank you for that, and that's the end of the show. And the end, would you like to say something, or I mean, give suggestions or comments or anything about to the viewers, because this will be recorded and will be posted to my YouTube as well, so people will say, people will, I mean, listen and learn from you.
Thank you, Burair. It's been a pleasure to be here. It's a very comfortable conversation for me as well, and I'm happy to come back. As a final message, I'll say I'm thinking a lot these days about game theory. And if you don't know what game theory is, it was first devised by a professor with the last name Nash, who won the Nobel Peace Prize for his theory, and has been applied to many situations since then. There was a movie about him called A Beautiful Mind, and it has a very simplistic analogy, but the analogy is that if you go into a bar and there are 50 men and one beautiful blonde woman, the men have no power. She has all the power. And the only way the men can get their power back is if they all collectively decide to ignore her. This analogy applies to many countries where there is despotic rule or tyrant rule. In the DR Congo, where the president, who's not a president, makes $600,000 a year, their only choice is to ignore the despot, turn around, and go figure out how they can create some type of community self-reliance. So I'll leave you guys with that deep thought, and maybe we can develop further on another time.
Thank you for coming to my show. And if you need any kind of help, because I am a mind sciences enthusiast, I advocate mind sciences, I teach people about meditation and all that stuff. So I'm always available for any kind of help. So let me know if there is anything. So thank you for coming, and thank you again. I'm saying a lot of times that thank you,
It's a
all
pleasure.
of the people. Yeah, and thank you, people listening to us. And we will meet in some other time with some other guest. Uh, so, bye bye.
Bye bye.